Just a quick update, because I haven't updated in a while. The world's first hand-wired analog macro pad is done, and that knob I've pulled it off too many times, so it's loose. Up next, I need to make the little rubber stopper thing so that these can have 2 points of actuation, so it stops there, and then you press a little harder, and then you can have a second point of actuation. I actually have to make a lot of changes to the firmware to get that done. Well, not that many. I just got to figure out, the best way to do it. It's mounted here. Double-sided tape wasn't working so well, so I used E6000. And the reason why double-sided tape wasn't working so well is because it's like a glass surface, and there's just not enough surface area. It's like that much on the other side here, underneath, before it reaches the screws, and they're not flat, so I had to use E6000. But double-sided tape would work, if I have more surface area. So yeah, that's working, and I also have another thing to show off, and that is the Riskeyboard 70 PCB Revision 2 is done, and it works. First, the board I got from JLC PCB was missing an LED on the D key, so I had to solder one on, and I think a bunch of others weren't working, so I had to replace them. And I just finished making the updated cover plate here, and the way it works is it goes over the top and then slides down, and then it will screw in. You can see the screw holes line up nice. I haven't soldered the USB ports because I'm still waiting for the USB hub IC to show up. I've got everything else soldered for the most part. I haven't added a LED output connector yet. This is the new location of the reset switch. Got the buzzer on there. That's the infrared receiver, which is now built into the PCB. And you can see I marked where the bad LEDs were. These are the ones that I replaced. I didn't do the greatest job, but it works. It's good enough. Yeah, lots of changes. The rotary encoder sticks out a little bit more. But I've tested everything. It works. Right. Well, I think one thing I haven't tested is the USB hub IC. So we'll see how that goes when it arrives. But I was smart enough that when I ordered this, I made a little USB bypass. Here, USB hub bypass. See that? Hub bypass. So I made it so that these two are connected. So by default, and if I want to, I can just cut the little connections between them. And though that's, in hindsight, that probably wasn't necessarily all I really needed were these two little jumper pads. And what I did was I soldered these, and what that does is it makes it so that the microcontroller goes straight to the USB-C port instead of going through the USB hub integrated circuit. So that's what that does. So really, these solder pads would only matter if I'd only want to cut them if the USB hub IC was actually included on here, and I wanted to bypass it in the event that it wasn't working. So once I get those USB hub ICs in, everything should be dandy. I don't think I have any revisions to make to this. There was one thing. I really got to screw these in, so I'll just forget that. So, pin 1. Oops. Total pin. There's no pin there. So that's the only mistake I've seen so far on the PCB that I made. Just a little silkscreen issue, because when I first put down the infrared receiver, I had it up here, and then I realized it'd be better if I moved it down towards the front. So that's supposed to indicate pin 1 down here, but that's actually got a better indication on the other side. Makes more sense. Another neat little thing I put on here that I probably haven't talked about yet. Let me pull this up so you can see. Summoned into this world for. So someday, if people order these, they can actually sign their name right here on this white part of the silkscreen. I thought that would be cute. But yeah, the other revisions are mostly cosmetic. I don't think the old version had labels on the backside like this. I also relocated them. That doesn't matter. You never really saw the first version, so who cares, right? I've tested the power, and it works perfectly. I'm able to detect when this is plugged in. But what's interesting about that is I can detect when it's plugged in, like when something's inserted, but not necessarily when it's getting power, which is something I didn't think about, because I can plug that barrel jack in, and then my code says, oh, there's power. I can crank up the LED brightness. but that might not mean there's actually power coming to it. So maybe I should come up with a better way than just checking the this little pin on the barrel jack. That what it does is it's normally at ground, but when it goes floating, that means that something's plugged in. So that's how that works. So, and there's the power selector. Everything works great. This is the new voltage regulator for the Hall effect sensors, and that has turned out fantastic. So much less wobble. I should probably make a video just about that, about how I achieved the super duper lower wobble on the sensors. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else. Oh, so see this little section here? It's hard to see. But this is a single button reset circuit that is implemented on the reset button. So if you press it just briefly, it resets the microcontroller. But if you press it and hold it for about 4 or 5 seconds, it puts the microcontroller in DFU boot mode, so you can flash it over USB. Now the only downside to that is once you've done that, it doesn't auto reset. So you got to go and press the button again once you flash the firmware. But other than that, everything works. It works great. It lights up nice and bright. And soon I will have a new top plate. And I don't know if you noticed, but the top plate design has an improvement, or a change I should say, a pretty big one. And that is the old design. If I move this out of the way, see if there's no cover here? It doesn't cover anything, right? Oh, the buzzer was here. That was a bad place. So the new design actually covers this whole area where it can. And that's so that I could put some magnets up here so that I can actually make a proper mount for this thing. Because right now it's just kind of like, you know, I either attach it magnetically like that, or these little feet just sort of hang on, but they don't hold on tightly. Not at all, which is a problem. So yeah, lots to do, lots of working on. I'm making tons of progress with this thing, and I'm very, very happy that this worked, which means that I should be able to release revision 3 soon, which so far the only change is going to be that little silkscreen change on the back here. That's not going to be there. But once I get it all up and running, oh, there actually, you know what? I just remembered there is another change. See this reset pin? I don't know what I was thinking. I made it separate from the ST flash header here. That was a mistake. That was stupid. Because who wants to solder just one little pin by itself like that? What a pain in the ass. I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, in the next version, this little pin is going to be right there so that you can just do them all in one go. And that is that. Hopefully, by the time I order again, GLC PCB will have all the parts I need in stock, including this quick connector. They just don't have it. Even LCSC doesn't really have it. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do about that. Maybe go with, for a group buy, maybe I'll go with a different supplier, someone other than GLC PCB. We'll see. That's all for now.